Welcome back to the 5-Star Podcast. It's been a long time, it feels like, since our last one that we recorded.
It does feel like a while.
Yeah, but hey, we're back. Today, we're going to be talking about the current mindset of our real estate market today. So I wanted to just kind of run through some of the stats with us so that we can, sort of talk about it and, discuss, where the mindset is of each type of, client that we're dealing with. All right, and just helping understand what the sentiment is.
Just
right?
recap and introduce everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad. It's been a while, guys. Richard.
Winston.
Oh yeah, Kenny.
Steve.
Rod.
Yeah. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
It feels weird to introduce ourselves because
yeah.
we know each other for so long.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
hi.
for the viewers. It's not for us.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while.
Feels
It's
like
been a while.
it's like the first episode almost.
Yeah, it feels like that anyways. So May stats have just recently come out. We're June 5th today. Yeah. So yeah, interest rates were held yesterday. May, we had 6,244 sales. Right. So that's down 13% from last year. Right. So last year we were around 7,200.
Yeah.
Last year was pretty slow as well.
Last year was also
So this
slow.
is slower than the slow.
Correct. Yeah. So
Were these just like all sales or just specific
all sales.
sectors?
All sales.
Okay.
All sales all around
Like
GTA market.
every product.
Every region, right? So Simcoe County to Durham to Peel, York.
No
et cetera,
exceptions.
right? So that's all the different areas. So in 2024, like I said, 7,200 sales. 2023, we had about 9,000 sales. All right. And then in 2022, we had 7,200, almost 7,300 in sales. Right. And then 2021, that's when our market was really hot. Right. Before the interest rate drops. So that was, we had about almost 12,000 sales. So we're about half of what we were at the peak.
This is 2 years difference.
No,
Three years.
No. This is
4 years.
Oh, 4 years.
This is going back. Yeah,
Oh,
2021.
Okay.
Yeah, so around COVID time.
Yeah.
So with this volume drop though, the price kind of still like held pretty strong. Like it hasn't slipped.
Prices has dropped.
Much.
I don't know. I
But-
didn't actually take the stats for how much money was dropped, but it's dropped. But
Oh,
I'm
they're
looking at
definitely-
volume of sales. It's just more supply and demand.
Yeah,
Right,
prices have
because-
definitely dropped.
Yeah, definitely.
Since 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, but currently, right now in our market, we have only just under 25,000 sales altogether between Jan 1 till today. Going back historically, just to give you an idea, some context of market. So last year, we had overall for the full year, we had just over 70,000 homes sold, right, for all of Greater Toronto area within the TREB system, anyways. Toronto Real Estate Board system. 2023, it was just under 70,000. So it's about the same, right? Give or take, right? A little bit. 2022, when interest rates started dropping, we had just under 80,000 sales. Okay. And in 2021, this is when the peak. Everyone's mindset is around that year.
You have to buy. You
yeah.
have to buy.
So it's 127,000.
127. Wow.
Right.
It's
So
not
if
just
we were
buy-
to project out from our 25,000 that we're at right now, right to the end of the year, we're
At 50?
about
50,000?
50, maybe a little more than 50,
60,000?
just under 60,000. Right. So we're talking about less than or more than half of the inventory that we're.
Yo, but you know what? Scary thing about that big number that we just saw is they're hitting their 5-year mark, which is
Renewals.
the
you mean?
renewals are
Yeah,
coming.
Yeah.
So that's scary for them.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah, there's I'm hearing a lot about
Defaults.
for
So
sure.
many defaults.
Yeah, we actually had a lawyer come in and speak with us last week, or this
Yeah.
week actually on Tuesday, and they were saying that their foreclosures or power of sales have gone up. They're about, I don't know, most of the files are like about 10% of power of sales.
So you're saying because they bought at the peak in 2021, and let's just say if they have a 5-year renewal or something like that, then they're renewing soon. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that, and in addition to that, but people had variable whatever, they couldn't carry their mortgage, so
Right.
it's just financially it's a little tight, right? In the
I mean,
market.
some people locked in too, but like once they hit their 5-year and they got to renew, they might not be able be able to afford the monthly.
Yeah, I think we
On a
mentioned
down market
we
too.
mentioned this previously. Like all the mortgages during the COVID period is due between 2024 and 26. These are all the renewal dates for all.
Yeah, if they're on a 5-year. Did they tell you where in Ontario these foreclosures are happening? The lawyer?
No, it's just general. They wouldn't.
Just a
get-
general
They wouldn't
trend,
get.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
No, I'm just saying.
They
Opportunity.
would. They,
Well,
yeah.
they work in the
Gathia,
GTA,
remember
though.
Gathia said it was like, she said Oshawa, I think, right? She was
I
saying in Oshawa there was quite a few.
Well, I mean, you can see it play out even in the pre-construction. Like if they have issues like closing or walking away from deals, that's just the
They
initial
don't, those
part.
don't even hit the books.
They didn't even
on
hit the
these
books.
stats.
No,
Yeah.
I
Not
think
in the
they.
stats.
I think they were talking about that too. So yeah, like a lot of it's pre-con that is having problems. People are walking away from their deposits
And then they get sued.
if the builders go back to them.
Yeah.
Back to the main topic of just like mindset of basically what's happening is, market is definitely slow.
Yeah,
It's
actually,
definitely
so yeah, just going back to some more stats here. So we're
Okay.
we're currently we have about 31,000 active listings, right? And then for the month of May, we had 6,244 sales. So that equates to approximately 5 months of inventory, right? And then 6 months is
Wow.
generally where the barrier is for buyers market. So we're sort of in that balanced market currently, in general sakes. But if you break it down, it's quite interesting into different categories. So if I look at detached homes, right, we have about 13,000, just under 14,000 active listings right now for detached homes. But 3,000 sold. So we're about 4.5 months of inventory, right, for detached homes. Semis, we have just under 1,700, so 1,700. 617 sold, meaning there's about 2.7 months of inventory.
that's not too many. Yeah, that's better.
That's actually in the seller's market
That's pretty
category.
good.
So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like townhouses in general, freehold townhouses, 2,300 active listings. We have about 650 sales, so we're about 3.5 months of inventory. Right now, then we start to look into the condos, right?
Okay.
Condo townhomes.
Yeah.
There's about 2,400 active listings, right? 421 sold. Right, so that's about just over 4 or 5 months. So like
Wow.
that's actually about market right now because we're
Right.
approximately 5 months. Condo apartments, 10,523 active listings.
Wow.
What they're right here. It looks like it's just under 1,900. Sorry, 17. It was 1,700
Sales.
sales.
Not even 2,000. Not even a fifth.
Yeah. Wow.
Are moving.
7.1 months of inventory.
Oh my god.
Okay, so condo
This
apartments
is
are hurting the
de-
most.
Condos definitely in the buyer's market.
Well, you see it
category.
too, right? Personally, right? Boots on the ground. You see it with your own clients,
Oh, 100%.
right?
Yeah.
Do any of you have any condo listings right now?
I do.
How
Hmm.
many
Has
days?
there been
would you say?
any action?
Well, okay. First of all, how many showings? How many days on the market?
Great question. So I had to relist it. It's probably from the start. I'd say I'm closer to 3 months right now. And
Is it a price
On-
thing or is it just no action at all? Like
Okay, how about this? How many showings have you had since the
I think
first
I've had-
time
I
you
think I've
listed
had-
it?
I think I had overall, 5 showings.
for 3 months?
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
that stinks.
I
that's
believe it
different.
is a price thing, but it's generally in that range anyways. But I don't know. I think it's just the sentiment of the market.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like the first time home buyers are just all frozen right now. They just feel like there might not be the best opportunity to buy. I think what you're saying is that people are, be choosy. They're a little more choosy right now with what they want to buy.
Yeah,
Because even
that was my point.
do you guys have? Okay, so let's go. Let's break it down here. Okay, so what are you hearing from the buyers in general? Like, do you have buyers right now that you guys are working with?
A lot of the buyers are waiting to see if there's a better deal. Like, I'm gonna think about it. Every time it could be like the one that meets their specs, all their wants, meets their budget. They still have to consider. Oh, okay, well, is there something of more value?
so they
Do
want
I
their
have a-
dollar to stretch a little bit more.
Yeah, is there an extra parking or is there an extra garage or washroom? Like, just everything goes in their mind, like for
Trying to get more house,
trying to get more.
right?
More
right,
for the
right.
dollar.
What about you, Rod?
I got, it's funny. I have some, it's not funny, but I have some buyers who because of all the Trump tariff talk and all that stuff, they were really concerned with their jobs. So they kicked into high gear and was like, okay, listen, I should probably get a mortgage now and lock it in before I don't have employment. And so out of that fear, they're really stepping up, and they were like nowhere to be seen in the last few months. And all of a sudden, okay, we got to go. We got to get a house now. And that's just because of fear of job instability, right? But I think buyers feel that they're waiting for to see if the interest rates will drop again. They just remain the same recently, but they're waiting to see if they can get a better deal. They're not desperate. They know that, okay, let's see this house. How many days on the market? 40 days? Okay, we can wait.
What kind of buyer is
Right.
it though? Like they're looking for a house, detached house.
Yeah, I'm working with some detached.
Because I find that the buyer segments are also different.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the sentiment is the same across the board regardless. I think they feel that the power is more shifted on the buyer side. So there's no immediate rush to go out and see a particular property. And we're dealing with some clients also who are selling first and then buying, and some are trying to buy first and sell later, which in my opinion, I wouldn't really take that route right now, just with the uncertainty. I'd rather.
I would, yeah.
It
Like,
depends on the
depends on your
situation.
market.
It really
and depends
I
on
know.
what kind of house you have.
Yeah, if it's a
And-
hot market, hot property, and you know you can sell it,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, you can gamble.
yeah. So I would consult your realtor and talk about
Right.
what the days on market is for your property and how, like, what kind of approach they're going to take to sell,
Mhm,
obviously, and see if you can get it sold fast enough so that after you buy.
Yeah, like those stats you just said. If you're trying to sell a semi, probably easier than
Yeah.
than a condo.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
actually surprising too. Like I wouldn't have thought the semis would go
That
quicker
fast,
than,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a lot. It was only like under 1,700, right? So
Maybe the price
there's
is
only
right.
so many semis out
Yeah, that's
there.
true.
Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
true.
Yeah,
But they move though.
But
Like,
you know what?
this-
Because the price points are probably in the right price point,
it might
Yeah.
be.
and so they're probably
yeah.
selling.
But like I said, I mean, I think buyers know they have a lot more options now. They're not rushed. They know they sort of have some power, and so I mean, I'm seeing people who are putting in offers. Even for myself, it's it's pretty low. They're trying for it, right? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
that's
we
true.
move on, right?
Well, you know
They're
what?
looking
Some
for
are
a deal.
some are even hesitant even trying. I don't know. That's
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
feeling that a little bit.
Are yours? I mean,
What about you, Win?
I find like right now, like a lot of the my buyer clients, they were really interested, and all of a sudden they put the brakes on,
Yeah.
and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what the market is. It's they have no urgency to do anything right now, whether it's because of their job stability. It could just be like, oh, maybe I can wait for a better deal. Supply and demand, like there's no scarcity. So whenever they feel like they're ready, they know there's going to be like 10 houses right there waiting for them. For buyers at least, right? Sellers
So
on the
just
other
more
hand,
options, you're
Yes,
saying.
for sellers, they don't want to lower their prices a lot either. So
Well, let's hold on to the seller's
Yeah.
comments, okay?
Okay.
But like we're looking at buyers right now.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, what about you, Kenny?
Oh, just working first-time buyers. Yeah, as Winston said, there's no urgency. Like sometimes I find a perfect house for them, checks all the boxes, and he's like, well, okay, let's just wait for 3 more so we could see them all together. I'm like, okay, but before, in a hot market, once it comes on the market, you got to go see it, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, let's just combo it. I don't want to go out and see one house. Let's.
Okay, so yeah, I hear you just saying it's so funny that
It's completely stress-free for them, man. It's awesome. It's
you're
great.
calling your
It's
buyers.
good.
Are you available today?
this is
I'll call you. Don't worry, I'm ready. When I'm ready. Are you sure? Like, let's go out. Let's go see it.
You know what?
I'm okay. I'll
First time
wait.
buyer
I'll
got a
wait.
quick story. So recently, we had a closing. Buyer was a first time buyer, high rise condo, and you know how when buyers they have revisitation, they can do measurements, they can
Okay, yeah.
bring
Buyer
their
visits,
family,
yeah.
buyer visits. They come in, they notice this and that and more. They made a list of stuff to complain to get an abatement from closing.
right.
They spoke with their lawyer. They said, "Oh, I need to reduce like $6,500 or $7,000." Just listed out like this looks like a water issue. This looks like mold in the washer.
This
dryer.
just happened to you
This
recently.
just happened recently. It's fresh.
Okay. Okay.
But first time buyers, I find we were just joking about it. Like they're expecting brand spanking new,
Yeah.
brand new, unused
Well,
condo when you know it's 15, 20 years, like it's unreasonable. Like
Well, you know what? The thing
They
is
got-
that like if you want to get that sale, you got to do what you got to do. You got to bend to the buyer.
100%. Like sometimes it's reasonable, so they have to speak some sense into like get their lawyer to just talk them down a little. Like
What was the end result? There was no.
normal closing, normal key
No
exchange,
deductions,
no
nothing.
deductions.
Okay.
That's interesting. So yeah, that's on the buyer side. So like I find that the buyers, there are different segments of the buyers. There's the first-time home buyers, then there's the upsizers, and then there's the obviously there's
upsizers and
the,
the downsizers.
well there's the upsizers, and then there's the I'm moving from the middle tier, like the ladder,
Yeah.
right? You're moving into your forever home,
yeah.
and then you have the ones that are forever home, and you go into downsizing or right sizing.
Yeah,
They call it today,
sizing.
right? Right sizing.
I like that. Right sizing.
So yeah, like I find that each segment has a little bit of a different activity, different psychology difference.
You're right. I think an upsizer would be a little bit more motivated than like a first time buyer.
Yes.
Right.
In fact, actually, because of prices, I find that people are starting to move in together. So multi-generational homes are starting to come together again. I'm starting to see that more and more.
Yeah, same here.
You mean like a home with
So-
a finished basement with a
Yeah,
separate
like
kitchen?
parents are moving in
Yeah.
with them, or
Or the parents sold their house, gave the kids some money. Now we live with you.
yeah, that's happening too.
Separate,
Right, so,
separate entrance.
I mean, it's a very interesting market right now because cost of living has gone up. Our expenses are high. Salaries are not exactly going up as fast.
Yeah.
So it's people are doing what they got to do.
It's expensive out there, man.
I
Like
know.
I don't know if you guys checked out steak prices, but they've gone up a lot. If you guys eat steak, man. Oh, I know
Oh,
you don't.
steak.
I'm sorry. But like,
kidding? I love
they've doubled, man.
Where do you go
Like
for
from
steak?
what though?
I think they
Where do
said
you go
I
for
think,
how much?
steak, bro?
I think beef went up by 33% this year.
Just this year,
Yeah.
it feels like it, man. It feels like it.
So
Yeah.
what? Like,
hurting.
you're getting like a $30 steak now. It's 50.
No, like okay, like per pound. Like pre-COVID, it was like 10, 15 bucks a pound. Now it's like
Okay.
25, 30
Oh, yeah,
per
yeah.
pound.
You go to the,
Definitely
you go to the keg every
That's
week,
that's,
bro?
that's
No,
like
I'm just-
100%
where you
up.
going?
No, only ribeye, man. Anyways,
Wagyu.
so okay,
Alex,
So
85.
actually, that's a very very interesting conversational point here because one of the objections I'm hearing is like, oh, people are very scared because they're uncertainty, but also their cost of living is going up. But I'm just looking at my own expenses and I'm asking other people about their own expenses, and honestly, like everything is pretty flat except for my grocery bills.
yeah, grocery.
Right?
Groceries
Grocery is
gone
the
up.
only.
Yeah.
Even gas has gone down from year to year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
Right,
that's
because
because
carbon
of the
tax.
You gotta go electric.
Thanks.
You gotta go electric.
yeah.
Yeah.
But insurance gone up.
Actually, mine's gone down, man. I don't know. I
No,
don't know why
mine's
everyone's
pretty
gone
stable.
up.
It depends
mine's
on your
pretty
area
stable.
where you live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depends on the
It
area.
depends on the area.
Yeah, but
Right.
I don't know. That's just I'm looking at my own expenses, but like you guys are looking at your own.
Don't even listen. You know my family. They're not going down. They're not going down.
Hey, when the food
Are you
goes
kidding
up,
me?
when the food goes up for
Listen,
Rod,
going down.
Rod feels it.
This guy's saying
All right.
my expenses are going down. Screw you.
Yeah, but it's a tiny bit your fault too.
Listen,
No,
kids
it's
eat
COVID's fault.
more.
It's COVID's fault.
They eat more. They're growing. Like you all have kids too. Stop.
All right. Anyways,
Stop.
back on topic. Okay. So what about sellers? What's the mindset of the sellers today?
Oh, they're still thinking about the peak prices, right? So yeah, a lot of sellers right now are trying to test the market. We don't have to sell, but let's try it. If we get the price we want, let's do it. But otherwise, let's let it sit.
A lot of sellers they have a fear of competing too, because they don't want to compete. Because when you're saying about how many months of inventory, you bring it up to them, and obviously they have to see like, oh, can I wait for this wave, to die down, and there's more demand. But right now, it's the demand's just pretty low.
Okay.
See, here's the problem. Okay, so a lot of people are selling first and then buying, right? It's
Right.
Everyone's doing that.
Yeah. Why
But
would
then-
you not?
Yeah, exactly. So and then you have a buyer, and they come see the place. Oh, they love it. I want to put an offer, but I can't because my place is not selling yet.
Yeah,
So it's
I
just
know.
a snowball effect.
Yeah.
So
It's a domino effect.
I've actually had that condition in an offer before for one of my listings, and the buyer
Recently?
recently, like a couple of months, what ended up happening for this condo actually. So this was a buyer from out west, and they needed their property sold condition, like one of the conditions before
SBP,
commit.
yeah, SBP. I haven't seen one of those.
So-
in a
Yeah, I know.
while.
I
You know
know.
what? That's
I was
sale-
shocked. I was
Sale of
like, I was
buyer's
like,
property.
I mean, I guess in a buyer's market,
That's,
you bend over,
of
right?
course, yeah. So what happened was
What's with you with the bending over?
He loves that
Yeah,
term.
yeah.
You just got to bend over.
Yeah.
so we
How
actually
much
took-
you got bent over?
no, but it's been such a long time for us to actually
Been practicing.
take that that clause.
Yeah, SBP.
Yeah, so we entertained it, but we actually had a exit condition, like an escape clause.
Of course, everyone does.
Yeah, so the seller can, so we found a better offer at the end and walked away.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So yeah, no, like for sure. I think with the buyer's market, it's you got to do what you got to do to get the rather than win, man. You guys are crazy. I said bend over, okay, bend over, man. Like, calm down.
I'm still in
I'm
this.
not even laughing about that.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, so so yeah, like if you're in a buyer's market, you got to do what you got to do to get the deal closed, right? Because it's a hard market when you have so much inventory and so many things that people are competing with. It's just hard to try to like get that property sold. But yeah, to your point, yeah, for sellers, it's some don't want to compete. They're fearful that like they have to compete with other homes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fear is if they hit the market and they don't get the activity, right? They feel like, okay, then I'm forced to drop my price a lot. If I don't get the activity, it doesn't sell for the first 60, 90 days, then it's just time wasted on the market. So they want to avoid that
How do they avoid it?
by not listing. They don't want to take that risk.
So
of
that's your
seeing the
experience right
market.
now. Like some of your
That's one of the
clients,
comments.
they don't
like,
wanna
oh,
put
I
it
don't
on
want.
market.
Yeah, I don't want to. I
don't
don't
wanna
want to take that
compete.
risk.
Okay. So there's no
competing.
urgency for them either.
Well, yeah.
That's
So
what it
you know what
sounds
I'm
like.
seeing? I'm seeing a lot of. So I've seen some listings where it's sale and lease, right? Several of them, like recently. So like you
Yeah.
said, it's a backup. I'm not desperate. I have options. If I don't find the price, I'll just rent it out.
Yeah, if you get your number,
Right.
we'll go for it. If not, then
It's Not
whatever.
really
I'm-
losing, right?
I'm sure we all experienced it. Like we're all hoping it actually sells, and then we end up getting a lease
Yeah.
offer, and then okay, well we got to wait another year or
I
two.
mean, like right now, actively, I have a client right now that's thinking of selling because he's like, oh, my mortgage is coming up in October, right? It's not a financial thing for him, but he's just thinking like, hey, you know what? Right now, maybe I can capitalize on picking up a good deal to upsize, but I don't want to overpay. Like that's word for word. I don't want to overpay. Like I'm gonna pay like his budget's like I want 1.2, but he's looking at something that's like 1.3, 1.4, and he's like, maybe we can lowball these guys, but I also got to sell my house, so that's the situation.
but if it doesn't sell and you're looking to put it on the lease market, you end up getting offers that are sometimes fraudulent. Like you open up yourself to like.
Well, you
there's
put it on.
risk.
You,
There's
okay,
abusing
you're,
it, right?
you're- okay. So, like generally speaking, would you put on the lease, like and for sale? Like you're more likely going to lease it out before you're going to get it sold, right? You've
Yeah,
had it on the
well,
market for a long time before you actually. It's okay. We have to look at leasing it too, right? So that's the challenge, right? Because there's only so much bleeding that someone can actually take, correct? But you know what? Like to your points, guys. Like I find that unless there's urgency or there's some kind of motivation, right, that is affecting the sale or affecting their lives,
Yeah.
they're gonna price it high over market or over price, right? Or they're just gonna like wait, right? So unless there's, I don't know, some of them are trying to capitalize on the gains that they already had, right? If it's an investment property, then
Yeah.
they would sell,
Yeah.
right? I find that people who are financially stressed, like under the water, they'll have to sell, right? If let's say somebody died and they have an estate sale, then that's something that has to happen, right? If they've been divorced, and then people who are like looking to upsize because they're having babies or they're getting married or whatever, right? Then they're upsizing. Those are typically reasons, like motivation. I find personally right now,
that's when they would think, yeah,
right,
for sure.
that they have to sell and they're moving and they price it correctly and
Yeah.
they transition, right?
Or-
That's where I'm sort of
Or
seeing.
interest rates. It's a huge one, right?
Well, yeah, and that's financial, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they
so
had, we had 1.5% now. 4 or 5, whatever it is.
you know,
it's a
relatively
shocker.
huge.
that's
That's a
you
shock
know
to
what,
your system.
historically that's still relatively low, right? So
Well, but they did. Yeah, but
it's just it's going to affect your cash flow
Correct.
at the end of the day.
correct.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people. I mean, I don't think salaries are increasing. Cost of living is,
Yeah.
and so how do you keep up with it, right? So
Yeah. No, I find that, yeah, like some people who are not desperate, and they just want to, like, they have their properties and they have, you know, some money gained in it and they want to release it. You know, they price it a little bit higher, you know, just to see if they
they're
can
gonna
reach.
tease
If
the
they don't
market,
get
see,
it,
yeah,
oh,
I'm
okay, well,
I'm good.
we'll adjust, you
Yeah,
know, but,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if they don't sell it, it's okay. No big deal. Right. So again, it has to have those like key urgencies of them wanting to have to sell. Right.
Right,
Okay, so I'm gonna just turn the table a little bit, not on the buy and sale side, but I wanted to talk about the rental side of things a little bit, because the rental market is also slow. We didn't really mention it, but it's also kind of like weird, oddly slow.
It is. Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
where are the people living? Right? They're not buying, they're not selling, they're they're not renting.
There's a shortage, but people aren't moving in.
Well, is there a shortage?
Right?
I guess not. Then, right?
Yeah, I
You
guess
know what I
not.
mean? Like, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
the question, right? So let's go into the mindset of a tenant today. I don't really deal with tenants, so I don't really have no comment on it. Have you guys deal with tenants?
I think I've dealt with a few. Some of them are literally just gone underground, like sometimes basement, sometimes like rooms. Like they've called them up, asking, "Hey, do you help me? Can you help me rent? This is my budget. It's like usually under $1,000." I have no choice but to turn them away because they're trying to rent and trying to move out of their house, and I feel for them. Like some of them are most of them are young people. They're trying to get their foot in the door, right, and get some sort of credit build, like with a landlord. Most of these a purpose, only rental buildings from management, they won't even take on these people because they're like new. They don't have history. They don't have a stable job. They might be working retail or
No cosigner, no
cosigner.
guarantor.
Like
Yeah,
I
new-
asked them. I'm
that's
like,
tough.
hey,
Yeah,
would your
I get
parents,
it, I
be
get it.
willing to jump on the lease with you? They're like, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone
That's
else dealing
mine.
with tenants?
Not many, but I've done a few leases this year, and it just feels like we have a lot of leeway in terms of, again, a lot of choices. A lot of them they rent condos, right? So they would go in and they automatically right now I feel like they're nitpicky. A lot of the little things because they know, like, oh, this building has another 6 or 7 options, or next door neighbor, next building also has like 10 listings. So they're not too rushed, and in a way it's like it's more work for us because now we got to show them more units within the same building, and it's like, what are you actually looking for?
And then everything meets their criteria, meets their budget.
Yeah.
meets
So
their
it's like,
timeline.
But it's their timeline. If they have a room, like let's say another month for them to actually shop and consider, then they're gonna take that time.
they will take their time.
Unless their timeline is coming down to no time,
Yeah.
then they're urgently like making a decision.
Just drag their feet.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
luckily, actually, I had a client, like, I helped them rent out a home 2 years ago. So it was like in Aurora, $3,800. We overpaid because there was like 4 offers at the time.
Full house, like it's a
That's a full
fully
house. Yeah, yeah.
3,800.
It was a semi. So they got the whole thing, $3,800 Aurora. And this year they're like, hey, you know what, Winston? We're looking at the market right now. We see bigger houses for less, so we want to move.
Mm.
So I helped them get another place. We got a better deal, and they got a detached for less.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what?
impressive.
You know what's? This is the first
good
time
job,
I've
man.
heard of. Have you ever heard of it? Landlords trying to retain good tenants, they end up reducing their rent.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's very
I've seen it,
common right
yeah.
now. I've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a few of my clients who have like tenants there, like, hey Richard, should I drop the rent? And I'm like, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
I was actually
Yeah,
like
yeah.
surprised that well, people are reaching out to me to ask like, hey, this is trending that because we've done all the vetting and they've had a stable job, they've had built a rapport already. It's both ways. Like they want to.
Well, okay, so like going back to that point, I would suggest my client to reduce it if they're paying above market rent, right? So if the market rent right now for, let's say, a 1-bedroom, if it's say $2,300 and they're paying 24,
For sure.
I'm like, okay, drop it,
them. Yeah.
right? Because they'll shop and they'll move somewhere else to save $100 a month.
For sure.
But if it's $50 or whatever it is, they may or may not move, right? So it's like they might just hold rent, right? Like just hold
Don't
the rent.
increase.
Don't increase. Just
Yeah.
have a good. You know, they don't want to move for $50, right? It's
You know,
kind of strange.
Increasing rent by the rental guideline, that pisses people off. And
No,
it
some people not
backfires.
even like rent. They're not even raising the rents now because
Yeah.
they just can't.
No, it'd be dumb to do so right
Yeah,
now.
because you raise my rent, I'm going to move elsewhere,
Yeah.
right? And there's so
And
many.
good
options
luck
for them
finding
to look
another
at.
tenant, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a hit or
So
miss too.
that's
right
that's
now.
the
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's going to the landlord side now,
Mhm.
right? I mean, landlords are just basically trying to retain, like you're saying, right? Or they're still trying to find that quality tenant.
It's a bit of a wake up call though. It's not like a few years back where people are fighting for your spot, and you know you can ask whatever price, you can kick them out
Yeah.
as you know under the guise of renovation, and then raise the price to like
Renoviction. It's called, or something like
Renoviction?
that, yeah.
it's not, we're not in those times. Don't do it.
Yeah, I think landlords are just in general, they're the ones that I speak with and work with. They're just paranoid right now, and rightfully so, because tenants, it's a hit or miss. They're just scared to put it out there, right? It's a hit or miss. 50.
Vacancy rates are high too now.
Well, a lot of the landlords though are just holding off too. It's
Well, they're holding off for a good tenant.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
vacant
Right,
because of their
because-
own, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to. You still have to protect them. You still have
Yeah.
to make sure you're looking for the right tenant, because
sure,
if you
for
don't,
sure.
and you get someone in there that just squats
Not
and
worth
don't
it,
pay
yeah,
you, then
yeah.
that's a big problem too.
Yeah, the paranoia is justified. But like, you know, I'm also seeing this demographic where you get 5 or 6, sometimes 7 or 8 people, massive groups of people taking a whole house. And that's a judgment call on the landlord, because I mean, that's a lot of bodies in one house, and who knows if they're related
there's
or
still
not.
Fire code.
Yeah, there's just that. But
If
they're
it-
pooling their money to get a bigger space and a better space in a better area. I mean, I'm seeing that now too. So
You know what? The thing is that like, if that's the case, you can still apply to landlord tenant board for eviction, because if it's overcrowding, then there's overcrowding.
deep.
Per the fire code.
yeah,
I guess.
Exactly.
It has to be per fire code. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
something that landlords should kind of know.
yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, like, and then you know what? Yeah, with landlords, I just find that they're more reasonable. They're like, they understand what's going on in the market. They're really
Yeah, they're more
willing to
flexible
flexible
now.
with the prices, right? They're not trying to get the best, right? In fact, I think some are even like going just below the market to find that quality tenant, right? So that's what I mean. I've been kind of working with that too.
I mean, like some investors that are landlords, they try to increase density now. Like I find some builders, or not builders, but landlords, they try to renovate an existing home. Could be a duplex, could be a triplex, but just increase the density. So that is not a rooming house per se, but you add more, you know, kitchens, separate entrances, follow the fire code so that they are able to rent at least maybe 3, 4, you know,
Interesting.
homes.
Yeah.
Just to make the cash flow and the numbers work.
So you know what, like, speaking about density, because like we still have a lot of homeless people in Toronto, right? And I was talking to some construction people, and believe it or not, they're working on projects right now for government subsidized housing. So Regent Park is getting built up again, guys. I think it's a good thing, because you know there's too many homeless people on the streets right now. So I think there's a project he mentioned around like Lawrence and Weston area or something in the Toronto area. There's going to be pockets where you're going to have government like subsidized like housing, right? It's going to be condo style like buildings, and they're saying they can rent them for like $1,300 or whatever the income is to the rent, right? They'll adjust it based on their needs. So it feels like that's coming back to the market from what I'm hearing, right? So that was kind of a new information for me, hearing it from first source construction workers that they're building
Yeah, it's
on
pretty interesting.
even
'cause
like
we need it.
4,800 Young, right? I thought they're selling it they're waiting for residentials to start.
By
I'm
Menkes,
seeing
right?
construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Menkes.
Menkes, yeah.
So I thought,
Young
I see
Shepherd
construction happening. And I'm like, why is there construction happening? They haven't even started sales, right? And again, randomly, met someone that's building it. And I'm like, what are they building it? Like, they haven't even started sales, right? I know it's part commercial, part residential, but it's going to be 100% rental.
Yeah, well, we spoke with Simon when we
yeah,
were
yeah,
at the office, and
Menkes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
100% rental. And I'm like, whoa, shit, that's interesting.
In that spot too.
But-
A Young and Shepherd,
Yeah, but
literally
right
right,
at
at
that
Young and
corner.
Shepherd.
but apparently it's not an executive like luxury rental. It's just at market rate, so that you're giving back to the community in terms of like housing, but they still retain the land in the
It's
property.
it's just surprising because right at that, like that's a hot spot. Young and Shepherd, direct, like
Well,
that corner, right?
Well,
that's
you know
why
what?
they-
Here's the thing. I think they have commercial contracts that they have to fulfill, and they have to build, right? Because I know, I think there's an insurance company that's going in there. Right? I think it was Forsters, and they have a big contract with them already that they're supposed to fulfill by like 2026 or 2027, right? So they have to, get that construction going, and they can't sell. They're
I
not
think
going to
it
get.
might have been originally 4 condos, but then market turned, and then they just switched gears. Right?
Yeah, but
that
but,
might be.
but I think Simon from Menke's did mention that they wanted to retain a foothold in that corner because it's just there's only 4 corners at Young and Shepherd. They want to maintain one side of it across from their office. Their main head office is across the street, so they want to have a more of a presence there because they in Menke's they built a lot of Young and Shepherd, Young and Finch.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're going back to that. I mean, it kind of makes sense that we need more subsidized housing because if it's just dependent on the private sector, then rent's just gonna continue to go up. People are more homeless. More people are gonna be out of shelter.
Yeah, because I sense like there's definitely subsidies from the government. It's probably more worthwhile to actually keep it as a rental as opposed to sell it off, and owners kind of would rent it out at a lower price and.
Right. Yeah. So let's change the mindset a little to investors. So just last one here, right? Investors mindset. Like where do you guys see the investors mindset right now in the market?
It's pretty down. Investors are not motivated to buy anything. They don't want to put money into the market. They rather put it in other sectors like stocks, bonds, whatever it is. And the people that do have property, I see a lot of them offloading, especially the smaller units. The bachelors, the 1-bedrooms, they're flooding the market. There's way too many of them because end users, they can't live in it. It's too small. So they'd rather put a little bit more money and get that 1+10.
So my take on investors, a lot of the smaller investors, individual and private investors, they're offloading for cash flow reasons or employment. But some of the bigger players, in fact, they're purchasing more of the commercial side, where it could be 4 to 6 plex or more. Could be apartments, could be maybe smaller pockets where they can redevelop, potentially just rezone. Because now our government is really pro-development. So if they are able to assemble maybe 6 to 7 homes, it's happening a lot at Yonge and Eglinton, and a lot of private equity firms. They're seeking money from accredited investors to join on these projects to assemble and build a tower of. I saw one that was about 47 stories, about 770 units. So a lot of these are popping up around zones that are kind of on the fence, questionable, but city will be like, okay, don't worry about it, just go ahead and build as long as they have the funding. So they're asking a lot of these private investors and REITs and everything to pool in money, partnerships.
Yeah.
A lot of that's happening.
Kenny, are you dealing with any investors right now?
No,
or-
no investors. So
No investors?
Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
feedback
yeah.
on that.
No, I think I'm dealing with a few, and they're actually really excited about the condo crashing, the condo market sort of going down pricing wise, and they're thinking it's a great opportunity to
Yeah.
scoop one up.
Opportunity.
Right? So that's the exact kind of market that they see this opportunity. Maybe I can get that 2-bedroom now for the cost of a 1-bedroom den. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, so that's the commercial mindset. I
Yeah,
was talking
right.
about.
So for some investors, this could be a great opportunity, like right now.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, for sure. I think you guys all touched on all the points with investors. I just want to, I know we're kind of like running a little bit on time, but I want to be able to talk about when do you think the market's going to turn?
Let's get your crystal ball out.
That's
Let's
gonna
see.
be-
I don't
Like
know,
what
man. That's
indicators, what
a-
indicators do you think we'll see before we'll see the market kind of like
I think
turn the other way?
I think a big indicator is looking south of the border, seeing what happens with the tariffs.
huge, yeah.
And then it'll filter out with some of the rates. Like, it's a big unknown right now, but hopefully, when his term rides out, maybe
so
it'll
3 more
bounce back.
years from now. Well,
Just 3.5 years.
That's my kind of outlook. Like, you don't know. You can't really predict.
It's so unpredictable.
So, but You know his term is coming to an end, as I know it today. Like I don't
No,
know.
there's a third term.
Okay, maybe
Well,
maybe there is. Maybe not.
he'll find a loophole somewhere, man. Trump is he's a loophole guy.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, as it is right now, it's not
terms, yeah.
changed. Officially, we can only see that far. Like that's
Right.
my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Right. Okay.
How
Rod,
do you
do you
guys-
see any? What's your views?
I think the government just obviously established itself, and people are waiting for some more stability. I'm thinking a few years out, to be honest. I'm thinking a few years out.
I think like right now, like our country basically has been threatened by the U.S. and with that, we're looking at a lot of other options to the European Union, all that. If we can strike some good deals out there and have less reliance on the U.S., I think our economy would stabilize and probably be a little bit better in the long run.
Some politics there. Who knows?
Yeah, interesting.
News, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Any takes for you, Kenny?
Yeah, January 15, 2026 is when it's going to pick up. Because you guys are just talking and making stuff up. So I might, it's the same reliability. Yeah.
I said a few years out. He's,
No, I mean,
January
it's just
15th,
speculation. You know?
Could be.
But, you know, that could change.
Look.
I don't know.
Hey, we can
Like-
mark,
We never know.
mark that date
no,
Yeah.
you're right.
Remind me,
Hold
January
on.
15th next year.
Let's
in the
let's-
comments. In the
Not
comments.
the first.
Yeah.
It has to
Not
be
the first.
Not the 14th.
No, 15th only.
What was that? Sorry, I know you want to talk about this as well. That story where the Instagram story, realtors turning down listings was it in Vancouver?
Oh no, that's here, man.
That's in Toronto.
No, Vancouver.
everywhere.
Vancouver especially, but here also. It started.
Like they're actually. So just recap. What's going on?
Well,
What's that story about?
well, main thing is, long story short, sellers are still hopeful for the high prices, and they're being unreasonable, also very stubborn on flexibility with pricing. So because of this sentiment, realtors can't work with that because it's just counterproductive. So they turn away
Turning away
sellers
listings.
for, just better business. Because if it's not going to work out, why waste time? Because I mean, realtors spend money. where
Well,
their
yeah,
market
you know
is.
what?
they
Honestly,
invest in their
like
listings. Yeah,
honestly,
you're right.
I would turn down listings because it's a business decision, right? Anything you do, it's a business decision. If you take on a client, that's a business decision,
It's a risk.
right? If you take on a seller, that's a business decision. Like it's like you take it on and okay, this is what's going to cost me. Like, hey guys, people, it does cost realtors money to take on a listing, right? It does
They don't
cost
know.
money
Yeah,
to
they
work
don't-
with
they
the
don't-
buyer,
They don't know.
right? It's just
They don't know.
it's like undiscovered, right?
Like
for
some
them.
of them are some of them are tangible costs you can show them. But,
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, I
so-
understand.
Some of them, even like the time and marketing, like actual fees, reports, like you can range anywhere from 2,000 all the way to 10,000 for larger homes. Like,
Yeah.
it's a big expense.
It could be
Adds up.
it could be opportunity cost. It could be like it could be actual cost, fuel cost, time cost, whatever, right? But there's a cost to it, and you just have to make a
course.
decision if it's the right, it's the like consequence for you to take that deal or not, right? If it's okay, yeah, I can bear that. That's not a big deal, for the business. That's fine. If it's too much and like what, you want to list that much over and you want me to do this and this and this, like, no, thank you.
But at the
right?
same time-
you can find someone else to help you out with
At the
that.
same time, it also
It's true.
it has to align
true.
with your personal branding as well.
yeah.
Right? If you take on a dozen of properties that are all overpriced, the whole industry will look at that as like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's not doing the proper
Yeah,
job.
what's the point
He's
of
not-
having listings that can't sell?
That's what I mean.
You have 20 listings, but you've sold
Yeah.
2.
As opposed to if you are
So-
very savvy with pricing and guiding your clients properly, and every listing that you take on sells within a certain time frame, like 36, like within a reasonable time frame, then you're doing them a service, as opposed to the other way around. Like, oh, this guy, he's known for taking on like pricey listings and just
Yeah, fair
just,
enough.
just
Yeah,
being a yes
reputation,
man.
yeah, for sure.
Reputation is a big thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's
Um,
another cost.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, any other thoughts, guys, on the current mindsets of our market today?
I'd say to sellers, just listen to the market. The stats don't lie, right? There's sellers who say, "Well, I know I can get this." Yeah, maybe you can, but listen to what the market is saying. Listen to the feedback that agents and buyers give you. Listen to the feedback at open houses, understanding where the market's mindset is for pricing. Even though you may have a strong emotional attachment to your particular property, listen to the market. The market doesn't lie. Stats don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Know your numbers.
All right,
Strong words.
Well said.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Let's go.
End of our podcast.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
good one.
Giannis
Hey.
to Toronto. Let's go.
All right, good job, guys.
All right, see you guys.
All right, thanks.